Hey guys, what's happening? Pete over here, Craigslist Hunter. Coming in with another video to you guys. Today I want to talk about a couple things that are being always overlooked and give you a couple tips on certain items that you should look for when you go out there. These are extremely common items that you come across at your Goodwill, Savers, and all the thrift stores. As you guys all know, I love vintage electronics, but this tip that I'm gonna give you is not about vintage stuff. These particular three items you come across a lot, um, and you should keep an eye on them. Very good profit on them. So let's dive right into them. And they're not that old. They're not vintage by any mean, far as the electronics go. They're maybe 10 to 15 years old, but there's abundance of them, and I'll run into them all the time. So let's dive right into it. All right, so here we got the first item. This one is Sony 5-disc CD changer. Anytime you go to Goodwill or Savers or pretty much any thrift stores, there's always one or two sitting there on a shelf. And they're usually really cheap, and people overlook them. I try to pick these up, when they have, like, if they got a green sticker on them, it's a 50% off day on green stickers. But usually these are priced like at $5 at Goodwill, sometimes $6.99. But if you can pick them up at 50% off, for $3-4, it's a great buy. And what's funny about it, this is probably about 15 years old. They were massive produced, especially by Sony. They probably made about 5-6 different models. There's a ton of them out there. Sony seems to sell really good. I mean, there's Kenwoods, JVCs out there, the Pioneer. They all sell good. But Sony is always a quick sale. And if you can find one with the remote control, you can obviously get a little bit more money out of it. This particular one I listed for $49.95. Buy it now. Sold really quickly within 1 day or so. If I would have had a remote to go with it, it would probably be additional $10. Now don't be scared about these. They are bulky, hard to ship. Not a big deal. I mean, you can usually price these out for like $29.99 and ask $20 for shipping, and that's usually will cover your shipping cost. But I like to incorporate the shipping into my price and do free shipping. I tend to do 90% of the time free shipping on my items. It just bumps your listing up a lot quicker to the top when you offer free shipping. So that's another great tip for you guys. So yeah, always look for these. Abundance of them. They're everywhere. You can pick them up really cheap and make good bucks on it. All right, so let's go to the next one. All right, so this one is pretty good one too. A lot of different brands out there. This one is made by Sylvania. It's a combo. It's the DVD VCR combo. For some reason, they're still extremely popular. You can record on your VHS from the DVD. You can't do it the other way, although there are some models that you can do that too, that you can record on DVDs. But this one is a cheapy one. Sanyo made these, Sylvania, Sony, quite a few companies out there, and seems there's abundance of them out there as well. I find these at least couple a month. And as you can see, this one, I think this one was priced at Savers, I want to say, if I remember correctly, for like $14.99. And they had on Sunday they had 50% off on any electronics. So I picked this one up like at $7 or $8. This one came with a remote, listed for $49.95 again. Sold right away. Now this is a little bit smaller than those big CD players that we just talked about, probably about a half of the size. They're not as deep, so they're a little bit easier to ship. And once again, I listed with the free shipping. That way my post goes a little bit higher in ratings. So this is another great item to look for. They're easy to find and extremely quick sellers. All right, let's move on to another one now. The next one is a great one. You guys gonna love it. So this is it right here. Sony Handycam Digital 8. Anytime you guys run into these, scoop them up. It's high 8 or digital 8, especially made by Sony, about 15 to 17 years old. They're not vintage, but they're extremely popular. People love to buy these. I can't explain why, because we have digital technology right now, but these are extremely popular. And if you can find them with bunch of accessories to go with it, the charger, a couple extra batteries, the bag, all the cables, manuals, they bring crazy money. This one I picked up a few days ago and I just sold a couple days ago. All this stuff that I'm showing you just sold very recent. You can look at the dates. This one I picked up for $24.99 at Goodwill. One of those cases, when they keep the stuff locked up, so you gotta call the attendant to open the case for you so you can look at it. And this wasn't even on sale. That was their original price, $24.99. I scooped it up. As you can see, sold for 149 bucks. I mean, you can't complain about that. And it's not big. The whole package with the bag is about this big. You can probably fit this in a medium-sized box, no problem, and ship it out. Always look out for these. Hot, hot, hot. Sony sells the best, but the Panasonic, the Canons, they sell pretty good too. But Sony seems to be #1 seller out there. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy these 3 tips that I had for you. These are for some reason overlooked all the time at across the board, and they bring pretty good money. And if the more you educate yourself on stuff, the more money you're gonna make. So when you walk into that Goodwill, you know what to look for. You got 10 different stops in a store that you can sort stuff out, and you're always gonna come out on top. There's never a time that I come out of the store without buying few things. So, and as always, I hunt the Craigslist, a lot of items I can find, especially electronics like this on Craigslist that people think that they are not worth anymore anything, and they'll put them out there for peanuts. A camera like that, usually you can find, for 20, 30, 40, even, you can pay 50 bucks for it. You're still gonna make $100 on it. So look for these. I hope those tips help you out. And please subscribe if you haven't done that yet, and give me thumbs up, give me that like. I really appreciate it. Till next time, guys. Peace.